Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Patreon podcast. This week I wanted to talk about pacing yourself. This is something that I struggle with quite often, and it's something that I kind of realized while watching Beardy Man, who is a musician who does a lot of live shows, but also a lot of YouTube content and Twitch content. What he does is he beatboxes. He uses his mouth to create all the sounds, and then he has this very complex setup to actually change those sounds into basses, drums, all this other stuff. But fundamentally, excuse me, fundamentally what he does is he starts with beatboxing and then he loops it and he makes music out of that. And he started out with a very different setup. And the thing that I wanted to kind of focus on was the idea that where he is now compared to where he was, 20 years ago is vastly different. And the only way that he got to the point where he is now is where he just got up and did stuff and he iterated off of that and he learned and he grew. And it wasn't something that happened overnight. Like his current setup wasn't something that he just decided to build one day. He put it together to resolve a need that he had, where like before with his old setup, he had I think there was 4 Korg K oscillators chained together, and that's how he made his loops and all that other fun stuff. And his new stuff is all based in Ableton, and it's all run by iPads and Max for Live patches and stuff like that. And there's just something to be said about seeing an artist where he is now and not necessarily looking through his past and understanding how he got there. It's like that's very disingenuous because it takes a long time to get where you are, and it's important to know where you started. I mean, with the 2-hour track challenge on my end, I started just doing very rough streams because I didn't know how any of that worked. And over time, I have a better understanding of how streaming works. I have a better understanding of how I make music, and all of that stuff comes together in a way that makes me look a little more professional, but not necessarily means that I am. It just means that I've spent the last five plus years working on this stuff and kind of iterating and learning and growing. And that's just what it takes. So when people try to do these challenges, either through the community event or, independently, it's difficult, and it's not something that's super easy to just jump into, but that's okay. I mean, I struggled at the beginning too. Everybody struggles, and, learning how to pace yourself and try it and get better at it and then move on and iterate from there. That's the important part. So that's, I think that's really it. I would highly recommend checking out Beardy Man's YouTube channel or Twitch streams or any of that other stuff. He primarily focuses on drum and bass and stuff, but it's still very fascinating to watch his process. He's a chaotic individual, and I love him for that. So, okay. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. I really genuinely appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you in the next one. Be remarkable.